Well, folks, as you see, I have Steve with me again today, and he's going to talk about a subject that he's titled it's just three simple words with a question mark after it. Blessed or cursed? Steve, what do you have to share with us today?
Well, we have to ask ourselves, are we feeling blessed today or are we feeling cursed today? And it seems like one day we feel one, another day we feel another. And I think, the truth is, who decides if it's a blessing or a curse? Sometimes we get confused about what we think is a curse when it turns out to be a blessing, So, for example, you're on your way to work and you get late and held up by something only to find out that there was a car accident on down the road and it could have been you. So, in a sense, it was a blessing, So we get to decide, by our own perception about what is the blessing and the curse. Now,
well, of course, there's that old story, too, of the young man that broke his leg and felt terrible about it. And the father says, well, we'll see. It's a blessing or a curse. Mm-hmm. And the next day they came in to conscript soldiers into the war. And because he had a broken leg, he stayed home.
Right. They didn't take him. Right. Yeah.
So
it
what looked like a curse became a blessing.
And this is the battle that we have in physical form, where we're trying to live in this world, and it's a balance between what we call the blessing and the curse. I'm reminded of a scripture that I heard many years ago in Proverbs, and I want to read this to you and use this as a basis for what I'm going to talk about, because it all goes back to the perception. And you understand the writer of Proverbs he's speaking to God, and he's saying, and by the way, this is Proverbs 30, verse 7 through 9. And the writer is saying, 2 things I request of you. He's referring to God. Deprive me not before I die. 1 is remove falsehood and lies far from me. And 2 is to give me neither poverty nor riches. So he's saying, 1 is remove all falsehood, vanity, lies, evil, far from me, and the other one is don't give me poverty or make me rich. And he goes on to say, feed me with the food allotted to me. In other words, whatever it is I need, lest I be full in my belly and deny you and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and profane and curse you. Now think about that. That is a pretty powerful segment right there to think about. And and so basically you're saying, God, don't bless me so much that I deny you or forget who you are, and don't curse me to where I will curse you. So he's trying to find a balance here. So the theme to this, in my interpretation, is to find contentment in everything. It could be, we could feel like it's a curse, we could feel like it's a blessing. The whole idea is, to be content with whatever it is that's laid before us. And contentment is a gift from God, to be able to be content. Can you imagine what that's like, to actually feel as though you're content no matter what the situation is? How is that possible for us to do that? I don't know. That is a challenge. There's no question about it. But here, the writer in Proverbs is asking God, don't bless me with these riches or curse me with a lack of food or being poor, and I end up stealing and cursing you for where I'm at, or blessing me so much that I have so much riches that I just kind of forget who you are. So, we're challenged to be able to understand the balance of how it is that we can be rich, get money or possessions or our gifts and strengths, whatever it may be, and know how to be able to keep that all in balance. So,
well, I know you've heard me talk about, and I think we've talked in our group and everything as well, about the RV. Well, if the RV happens,
please identify to everybody what the RV is.
It's the currency revaluation. RV stands for revaluation. Mm-hmm. And as we know, the dollar is backed by nothing of tangible value. It's fiat, what they call fiat currency, and it's just paper.
And the dollar right now is in trouble.
And it costs as much to print a $1 bill as it does to print a $100 bill, or larger bills if they, I imagine they exist. I've never seen one. I've seen hundreds.
And the value of the dollar is decreasing
Absolutely.
because of the debt load. Go ahead.
Because it's fraud. I mean, they create.
Yeah, but it was fraud from the very beginning. Now it's in serious trouble because of the debt load. There's a difference, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a difference? As you said, it's been a fraud from the very beginning. The whole monetary system was a means of people that considered themselves the elite to enslave people without them knowing that they were being enslaved. So you pay them.
Now hold your thought on that. I want to explain to everybody. See, today's dollar note says it's printed by the Federal Reserve. I have a note that is printed by the U.S. Treasury Department, and it was backed by either silver or gold.
Usually they said silver certificate, right?
Silver certificate, that's right. Exactly right. That's what it says. And so there's a difference, and people don't understand that there was, when they shifted over to the Federal Reserve to do the printing of our money. So there's part of the difference. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, of course, the Federal Reserve has been fraud from day one. And yet it's what the world turns on. And the reason that they've gone after Gaddafi and other world leaders that have tried to set up, and including Hitler, he tried to set up a non-Rothschild monetary system. And that was just an absolute no-no, and it's why the Second World War happened. They came after Germany because of Hitler, and he was, I no longer see Hitler as the demon that he's been portrayed as in the West. And that's another subject, I know. But it was a blessing or a curse. He was trying to bless the world, and many people in Europe and otherwhere, including Muslims and stuff like that, were siding with Hitler. That's something that maybe most people, I didn't know it. I didn't, because it's come out now, people that investigate these things. But it's interesting. Was he a blessing or a curse to us? To the Rothschild, he was a curse.
Well, it comes down to the individual. That's what this piece of scripture here is talking about. We get to decide what is the blessing and the curse. It's based upon our perception of God and what is going on in our lives. And I can point the finger at different people and say, you blessed me, you cursed me. I can do that. But that's like, here again, it's based upon my perception about what it is that's happening in my life. And you told a great story about the man having a broken leg. So you're right. It's sometimes it's very unclear as to what is the blessing and what is the curse. Mm-hmm. The most important thing in this scripture that I'm pulling out here is to learn to be balanced, to be content with whatever's happening, and saying, well, let's wait and see, because the rest of that story goes with the father when he broke his leg, and he says, oh, he's been cursed, and the father would say, well, let's wait and see what happens. That's what he would always say. So it's a matter of time and seeing the big picture. The most important thing is for us to see the big picture and to understand that it may be neither a blessing or a curse. It just is what it is, and learning how to accept it. Because what the scripture is implying, because if you deny me, if I'm without food, I will curse you. If you give me too much food or too much of abundance and wealth, I may forget you. So that comes back to the responsibility. That's right, because God is being the victim because we try to project that upon Him, and it's our choice. We get to decide whether or not we're going to blame God or bless Him, and we do this every day.
Well, let me ask you: do you think that there will ever be justice served on this planet, and that people will be able to live in relative peace?
You know my answer. My answer is it already is.
It's not what I know. I mean, we're making a video together.
No. You know what I share. We've talked. I believe that justice is being served, or what we call justice, meaning the fact that if you basically on the concept that you sow what you reap. So whatever it is that what energy you're putting out there, if it's high positive energy, you're going to end up getting that back. If you're struggling against the universe and you're not aligning yourself with the universe, then you're going to end up feeling a negative energy. You're going to end up being frustrated and angry, and so justice is being served. Now you're saying, well, you look at other people and you say, well, what they're doing is not right because they are
violating free will,
violating someone's free will, and you're right about that. They are, but where does the responsibility lie?
Well, people would say it lies with us, but
that's right. It lies upon you, and not letting them do it to you.
That's easier said than done.
That's true. I'm not disagreeing with that.
As you know, I did all sorts of legal documents, taking control of my assets, put them in non-statutory trusts.
I watched you, Ron. I was around during that whole time. I was there by your side when you were doing it, and I had my questions and my comments as you went through all that. I totally understand that. But okay, here again, I think where you're right now is still a blessing. But that's my perception of you. You have to decide what that is. And I agree that what they did in the courts with you was a criminal act. I mean, with the story, that everything that I know about what happened to you was definitely a criminal act. And I even know what they did to me and other friends of ours. The point is this: is you have to step back and look at the big picture and say, okay, where is the curse? Where is the blessing in this? And find that there's a balance in both, and learning how to be content and accepting what is happening, at the same time creating a boundary and standing your ground for what it is you believe, and don't play the victim role.
Well, ironically, in spite of my health challenges, I'm still alive.
Yes, you are. And in fact, I think you're doing fantastic. I mean, you told me the other day about how, I know you're still having some health issues, but the point is, overall, you just got to tell me this morning you climbed how many floors of stairs?
Well, I don't want to say what floor I live on, but it's a lot.
Well, it was over 10 stories.
I have a very good view from where I'm at.
It was over 10 stories, right?
Absolutely. And I was certainly winded by the time I got
I'm not even sure I could do that. So you don't have to go work out.
I do know that walking up is a heck of a lot harder than walking down.
You got that right.
It's not so big a deal.
Yeah. So, so you're blessed to the fact that, you had a stroke and you had a major heart surgery just in the last few years. And how old are you? You're 70?
Yeah, it just turned. Well, I'll be 71 in October.
Yeah. So the point is, you are blessed, and the fact that you're still making your videos, you're still doing these things, and the same thing with everybody else out there who's watching these videos. We have a tendency to see things sometimes as a curse, and they can turn out to be a blessing in the big picture. But we get to decide what we're going to do with that, and instead of blaming God for what is happening in our lives, we have to take the responsibility and say, what is mine to do in this? And connecting to spirit and getting clarity. That the challenge is, and I shared with you the other day, we have a tendency to let things out here muddy up our clarity about what it is that is ours to do, because we pay attention to this out here and we react to what's happening instead of actually going within and connecting with spirit and then getting some clarity about what it is that we really are supposed to do, because that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, my whole thing is that when I had my stroke and everything, and then lost, still I was secure. When I had my health challenges, I was still secure. I was in my own house. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a mortgage to pay. I didn't have rent to pay. I was, even with as little income as I have, I was okay. It wasn't a problem to me that I was making less than $1,000 a month. It became a problem when they took my house. Mm-hmm. And how am I going to survive?
And how are you doing now?
I'm obviously making it. I mean, I was.
Hey! That's right. You know, and the opportunity is there for you to expand that if you wish to do so. The point is, you know, I'm secure in my place here, just as much as you are secure where you're at. Security is what we create, you know, through the energy from within us and our connection with spirit. Now, we like to believe that our security is within
the monetary system or
the
whatever.
monetary system, the police, the political police system, the government, or even the
I
fact
don't
that
look at it that way.
or the fact that we could even have a gun, you know, that protect ourselves. The truth is, our security and our protection is based upon who we are, the energy that we put out, and our connection with spirit, because we're connected to all things. Now, I know that you may say, well, that's a lot of woo-woo thinking, but I'm telling you, I believe in spirituality and how that affects my life and my own securities in that. So, and you're right. There are times when things may happen. You go, oh my God, how did that happen? Why did that happen? And sometimes you don't always get clarity at first.
No,
why things happen. Yeah, right. So you have to kind of sit back and say, okay, God, show me what it is I need to know and understand. You know, first thing for me to do is to not blame, not play the victim, because when things are happening to me and I feel like they're happening to me, I need to shift my thinking and say, okay, why is it these things are happening for me? How can I move out from happening to me to shifting to where they're happening for me? Just as it did with the young boy who broke his leg. The things were happening for him so he would not have to go to war. You know, so we have to begin to change our perspective and begin to understand that the universe is conspiring to work with us and not against us. The only time it works against us is when we're working against it and we're breaking the universal laws and feel as though that we need to be in control, when the truth is we're in harmony with the universe.
Yeah, again, what do you see as the universal laws? I mean, I know we keep hitting on this, but
okay.
It's something that people need to get it clear in our minds. And I don't think most of us do, including me sometimes, I guess.
You don't think what?
I don't think that most people understand what.
No, well, they don't. You're right. And I had to study it, and I still haven't got it all figured out. But I do have some great deal of clarity compared to what I used to have many years ago. The first law of the universe is that we are all one. The law of one, meaning that we're all connected. The concept in our ego mind is that we're separated out, and we play it and live our lives as though we're separated. The truth is, we're one.
That was one of the things that Aristo says, that's BS, that we're all one. We're obviously not. That's that's a perception, Steve.
Of course it is.
And, I've taught that we are all
I don't know how he can say that.
I taught that.
I didn't see that video, and I don't know how you can say that when you in quantum physics says everything is connected. You can't separate it out. Now,
everything may be connected, but everything is not coherent.
Yes, you're right in the fact that there is a separation, but the source of all things is one, and we have to come back to that. We have to recognize the oneness. So the law of oneness says that we are a one, and bringing it back in, everything back into harmony. But we get to make that choice. If we want to stand and say, "I'm not one with you," if I want to do that, and I want to resist you, then that's in my mind. That's what I'm experiencing. So
you don't think that we should stand up to the corruption in our government and in our
that's system? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying yes. I agree with that. I believe that we should take a stand.
Yeah, I think if we don't, then we acquiesce, and it's whatever they decide is okay, and it's not.
Yeah.
And again, I'm saying it's an us and them again. It comes back to
right. You're right.
I don't like that. I honestly and truly don't like that. But that seems to be the reality that we have to deal with.
Here's an example, and I don't deal with big authorities much. But one day, I had a doctor that told me I had to have this test. And I have a background in medicine. That's what my degree is. I was a nurse for a short period of time. So I worked in the medical field. So I know enough about medicine. I know how doctors work. I have friends who are doctors. So I'm with this doctor. This doctor wants this test done on me. And I said, look, doc, I'm going to choose not to have this test done. He goes, well, I don't think you should. And he went all his reasons why. And I said, besides, on top of that, I said, here's my reasons why I'm not going to have it. Plus, I don't have the insurance now to cover this in my treatment. I said, I'm just like you. I'm self-employed. So I have to create my own money to be able to provide what it is I'm going to do. And when I said that to him, it's like he was floored. He's never had anybody say to him, I'm just like you. I'm self-employed. Because that's what he is. He's self-employed. So when I put him on my level, it was like, he never had anybody, rarely had someone do that to him, put him on his level. So sometimes you have to put yourself on the same level as a person who wants absurd authority over you.
That's actually a good illustration. I like that.
And you have to think about how it is that you're going to speak to that person, and what is the truth behind what you're saying. You can't just say you have no right. We hear the stories and the teaching of the sovereign man, which I believe in, but we have to be able to position ourselves so that we are sovereign and know where our sovereignty comes from and how it exists within us. Because
the problem that we run into is the establishment, again, doesn't like people that try to claim sovereignty because they want willing slaves.
Of course, very good. You're right. That is so true. And most people don't even know that.
I know.
There's nothing more that they want to keep. They want to make you feel as though you're free, and now you're still a slave to them. And so when you can get through, work through your consciousness about the truth behind that, it's only then you can scream and holler, I'm sovereign, when the truth is, if you're not living sovereign life and you're in your awareness, then you're not sovereign.
Yeah.
You're not.
After the Civil War, of course, they had the Emancipation Proclamation, which supposedly set the Negroes or blacks free. But it was actually another level of enslavement disguised as freedom.
I had one of my coaching clients this morning said to me, I put this pool in my backyard, and the city or the county authorities came in and said, you have to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, or we're not going to approve your pool, and you can't use it. So he makes the changes. They come back and they go, well, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. And now he comes back and they go this. 3 or 4 times they kept coming back and telling him all these changes he had to keep making to his pool so it was up to their standard. And he asked me this morning, he goes, I don't understand it. It's my property, it's my house, it's my pool. Why do they think they have to tell me what to do with my pool in my backyard? I'm the only one that's going to be in the pool. Why is it they have authority over me? I said, good question. What is it they get out of it? And what is it that they have
out of it is control.
They can control, they make money off it because he has to pay for a permit.
That too. But money is a system of control.
Yeah, it's a system of control, and he doesn't understand. He said, "You think it's your house, you think it's your property. They think it's theirs, even though they let you think that." So it all goes back to perception about how it is that we see ourselves and how we can actually come into this reality, this awareness of our true freedom, and be able to choose the perception: is it a blessing or is it a curse?
Yeah, it's certainly something that we've all dealt with and are still dealing with, and I don't know if we'll ever not have to deal with it.
Well,
I'd like to think that we will.
In physical form, you're right. Jesus said, in this world you're going to have trials and tribulations. It's not going to be easy. But he said, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. And I'll say this again. I've said this before. The word cheer means courage. Be of courage. So it takes courage to be able to stand up in your power and in your own might and be able to express your truth. and be able to have a balanced perception about what is really happening and not playing the victim role.
Yeah, well, that latter part, not playing the victim role, is challenging for me because I see humanity being the victim of villains that have been allowed to run roughshod over sense human rights.
But the reason they have that power is because the people let them. Let's take it back to you. Are you playing that role?
I'm doing the best not to.
No. So whenever it is you feel like you are, you need to take a good look at that.
Yeah.
Because my freedom, my peace, and my joy is in the fact that I knowing who I am and not allowing myself to play the victim role. Now, I do believe, I understand, I'm still living in this world, so I do what I call going in and out of the matrix, as they did in the movie. I'm going to go into the matrix. I am going to make money and take money to buy food and so forth, and so I do play in the matrix.
Well, the Matrix movie, of course, is interesting because when they were firing the shots at him, they were hitting an invisible screen, and you could see where the bullets were hitting the screen, but they weren't touching him. Now, if we had that ability, we could actually level the playing field and have a completely different experience of living in the world, as you say.
Maybe we do.
I don't know.
Your story of Anastasia.
Yeah. Well, she certainly demonstrated that. Some people still think that's fiction, but I don't. I wish she would come out and we could meet her other child and know what happened to Fallujah. But who knows? I mean,
but you raised a question, and I'm just saying,
yeah,
there's the possibility of that happening, and I'm not there yet. Or at least I've not had that experience yet. Let's put it that way. So with people shooting at me and bullets deflecting off of me, but
that would certainly make us a lot more fearless if we realized that we had that capability.
Right. Well, here again, that goes back to our moving into our power. And when we let fear control us, then that's what's happening. It is in control.
Yeah, it certainly is an enigma.
Yeah, and even the scripture I just read to you, the person who's asking this request from God, he's coming from a place of fear. Don't bless me and don't curse me. He's coming from a place of fear. He doesn't understand really who he is.
Yeah, because I can't handle too much, and I certainly don't want to experience being too deprived.
Well, then turn that fear that you're experiencing into love and wisdom, and you'll not have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, we do hope and pray that things are physically and literally turning around, not in some etheric realm, but something that's going to make positive change for people here on this planet,
yes,
living as human beings.
So be it.
And that we, if I could, believe me, I would heal whatever is broken in the elite that keeps them from having compassion.
In a roundabout way, you are, Ron, by doing these videos and sharing what you're speaking your truth.
I mean, I'd love to see everybody come home.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I will do the same.
Okay.
The more of us to do, that's going to happen.
Okay. Well, have you wrapped up, or are we?
I think
done for now.
I think we're done for now.
All right. Well, thank you again, Steve, and to everyone, namaste. And that means the light that's in me recognizes that there's light in you too, or divine, or whatever you want to call it. Bye.
Bye.